Welcome to the Partizan Podcast. I'm Ben. This is George. Today we're talking about the 7 habits of highly effective grapplers. George, part of the perks of this job is we've crossed paths with some pretty good grapplers, pretty high-level grapplers. Jozef Chen, Declan Moody, Bilal Etibari, Isaac Michelle, a bunch of guys.
Endless list,
yeah, pretty endless list. Kenta Iwamoto is another one. And what I've realized speaking with these guys, hanging out with these guys, is sometimes they approach training in quite a different way compared to your average hobbyist. So we're going to look at some of the ways that they approach training that can be used by your average grappler or hobbyist to get better. Okay, so the first thing I've noticed is they record their rounds, almost all of their rounds. Ari Tabak does this as well. And I used to feel really awkward about doing this because, I don't know, you've got to ask someone to hold a camera for you, or hopefully your gym has security cameras, but most don't. Sometimes you have to ask your girlfriend, like, hey, can you film this roll?
You get a tripod as well.
You can get a tripod as well. That's true. But people feel awkward about doing this. I think because people feel like they're going to get highlight reeled on Instagram, which sometimes they are. I think if you have the right environment, you should be able to highlight reel your training partners on Instagram. And you should also get highlight reeled yourself. Yeah. But if you don't, you can definitely film the round and just talk with the coach, talk with your partner and say, hey, look, I'm not doing this to highlight reel you. I'm doing this so we can watch the footage back later and actually learn from it.
Yeah. Well, I've had coaches like highlight reel me before, and they're like, is it okay if I post this on Instagram? I'm like, yeah, sure.
It's very considerate of them.
Like, who cares? Like,
it really doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter that much.
No, but some people care a lot, right?
Some people care a lot, and that's fair enough. But yeah, like I have had coaches do some crazy stuff to me, and they're like, is it all right if I post this? I'm like, yeah, like I really don't mind. Yeah, as long as if you are posting highlight reels of other people, you just have to be okay with them highlight reeling you, I think.
Yeah, you can't just have highlight reels of yourself and then go, no one else can highlight reel me. I'm the only guy.
But yeah, to your point, yeah, like the first person I noticed doing that was Ari Tabak. And I think I don't know if he still does it. I think he does, but he religiously just recorded every single one of his rolls. And we're lucky enough here in this gym where we have security cameras. And it's so helpful. It's so helpful. What you actually do and what you think you do, there may be a giant gap between those. And what I'll literally do this where I'll be in a roll, and if I get, lose a roll or lose a position or something like that, oftentimes I'll look back at the security camera and I'll see what I did wrong. And then it's so easy to fix it up. Because in the moment, especially if it's a hard roll and you're getting bashed, like you don't know what actually happened. And you went for a dust from a front headlock, but you didn't even notice that they grabbed your leg and then they forced you down to a hip and now you're on the bottom, And then you watch this back and then the next roll, you just don't give them that leg in front headlock and you fix the mistake and bam.
You fixed your problems.
You fixed your problem.
You've solved your own problems.
It's so helpful. It's not always easy and it takes a bit of discipline because like there's something about like watching yourself get bashed. It's
uncomfortable. It's like listening to your own voice back.
You have to be in the right state of mind, but honestly, it's so helpful. Like it's so helpful to watch where you went wrong because I'm just the type of person where I don't always realize what I did wrong, but then having that footage, it's so helpful.
Particularly, some of the most effective training I've had is when I've had a round, it's being recorded, and immediately after the round, I sit down with the person I train with, and we both watch the footage. This is super effective training because we can have a discussion, be like, okay, why did you go for this underhook now? Why did my sweep not work? What were you trying to do in this point? And they because it's just happened, they'll remember exactly why, and there can be a discussion from both of you about breaking down what that roll went and what you both can learn from it. I found that to be super effective, and it's hard to do. With an open mat, I guess you can do it. It's hard to do in a normal training session, but I definitely think it's worth doing.
Yeah, 100%. So that's number one.
Number one is record your training rounds as much as you possibly can and review them. Review your training footage. Number 2, a bit more tactical, is they're always grip fighting.
Okay.
Always grip fighting. I realized when I was a blue belt, I was cross-training a bit. I went to a gym called Open Sparring. And I trained with the coach, and he just bashed me every single round. I thought, what is this guy doing? And he gave me some really good advice. He said, you're trying to pass I think this was in the gi, but regardless, he's saying, you're trying to pass my guard when I have grips, and you don't have grips. And that's why you're getting swept and submitted. You need to break my grips, establish your own grips before you try and do anything. Every single technique, every single sequence generally starts with a grip, starts with a dominant grip.
Yeah, I completely agree.
But it's not that like sexy or fun to be like, today I'm working on my grip fighting.
I always break grappling down as, okay, we're in open space. What I need to do is I need to, in some fashion, basically make connections with you. And ideally with these connections, I can do things and off balances and move your body, and you ideally can't move my body. It's so simple when you put it that way, in the sense of we can't do grappling unless we have connection.
Yeah.
And I need to connect with you in a way where I can move you and you can't move me. And if I feel like you can move me, I need to break whatever grip you have.
Yeah.
Or counter it.
100%.
And you need to address those. Otherwise, you're just getting off balance. You're getting taken down. You're getting passed. You're getting mounted, submitted. You need to address these connections.
And it's such a powerful point, it can actually make matches boring. If you watch two black belts, sometimes it's very exciting, but oftentimes it's boring. And the reason why it's boring is because both athletes understand, unless I have dominant grips, I'm not pursuing forward. So it's almost like a tug of war of grip fighting for 3, 4, 5 minutes. It's so effective that judo have made certain grips illegal because they're like, it holds up the action.
Wrestling too, right? I think freestyle wrestling, you can't connect your hands when you're behind someone.
Yeah. And judo, you can't grab the belt. You
Yeah.
can't, I don't think you can break a sleeve grip with two hands. There's several,
Whoa.
there's several rules they've implemented because they want more action, and the grip fighting is so effective, it stops the other person getting what they want, and nothing ends up happening.
And it's one of those, it doesn't really translate in video well, but we were at the CJI trials recently.
Yep.
We were lucky enough to have front row seats, and watching those guys like breathing so hard, fighting so hard for those grips, in real life, it's actually so fun. There's something so exciting about it.
Yeah.
I don't think it translates in video as much, because it's like
With that right in front of you,
little minute things, but like right in front of you, these monsters fighting for every single tiny battle. It's so fun. It was actually really exciting.
And you've got heavy collar ties. You've got all the it's
heavy
such
breathing.
heavy breathing. It's
Very
it's hard
heavy
work,
breathing.
man. So number 2, relentlessly grip fight. Understand the battle of the grip fight. Number 3 is these high-level effective grapplers understand what the training room is for. So they understand that the training room is a place to develop your skills. It's not a place to appear like you're the better than other people. It's not the place to try and be at the top of the totem pole, because I think a lot of people, particularly if they don't compete, they think the training room is the proving ground. They think, I want to perform when I'm here, which to some extent is understandable. But if you're neglecting your weaknesses and just focusing on your A game, you will continue to have those weaknesses. And something we spoke to Kit Dale about on the podcast episode with him is, because he understands what the training room is for, every time he trains with one of his training partners, he identifies what their strongest area is, and he just stays in that area. So if this guy's really good at judo, he's going to stand with him. If this guy has a really good guard passing, he'll pull guard. He's trying to get the most out of training with those partners by thinking, what can this person teach me? What can I steal from them? Or how can they expose my weaknesses in a way that I get better? And the problem with doing this is it kind of sucks because you're putting yourself in intentionally difficult situations. It's almost like resistance training, right? Like if you wanted to feel strong, you would go to the gym next door and you just lift the lightest weights and then you'd go home. But is that making you stronger? No.
It's not.
You need to push yourself, right? You need to lift a weight that you can just barely lift or sometimes fail at. If you're not failing in training, you're probably either in the wrong room or you're training in a way that covers up your weaknesses.
Yeah. Depends on kind of training room you have as well. Like there are definitely certain people that come to the gym to just release some stress, and they're trying to win every single roll. I feel like a lot of times they're maybe not the funnest people to roll with. And then there's, full-time athletes and things like this where they've got so much time on the mats. They're not trying to fight every single day. They're looking to work on their skills every single day. So just find good training partners as well for that.
For sure. Definitely. Don't get treated like a punching bag by the guy that's had a bad day.
Yeah.
Moving on to that, we've noticed that a lot of these high-level athletes prioritize one area of improvement. So instead of trying to get good at everything all at once, They'll identify a deficiency. A good example was I spoke to Lachlan Giles, and I said to him that part of what I admire about the way Lachlan approaches competition and learning and losing is that he approaches his losses quite analytically. He doesn't take on a loss and let it get him down. He looks at it very analytically and thinks, okay, I lost in these 2 matches because my guard was passed. So I need to work on guard retention for the next 18 months. So he almost just did guard retention with Ari Tabak, who's got one of the best guards in the world, particularly for retention, and worked guard retention relentlessly every day for the next 12 to 18 months until it became one of the strongest parts. He's got one of the best guard retention guards in the world, right? As opposed to, I want to get good wrestling, but also passing, but also guard retention, and I want good sweeps, and then my arm bars need work, and also rear naked chokes, but also front headlocks are fun. It's like a video game. If you're putting skill points into every single different category, your progress is so slow, right?
Have you ever watched that guard retention, that instruction?
Yeah, it's incredible.
It really speaks like how professional Lockie is, and obviously also Ari. Like, what is it? I can't remember how long it is. It's so long.
There's 2 volumes. The first volume is like 8 hours long. The second volume has the same first part, but it's essentially another like 6 or 7 hours of unique. It's around the legs, under the legs, through the legs, guard retention. And it's literally 14, 15 hours long.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's so good, but like, in some ways I find it hilarious, but also, like the professionalism.
That's how much they worked on it.
It's like, it's like, wow, like you thought of everything. Okay.
Yeah. If I asked you to tell me everything you know about guard retention, how long could you speak for?
Not very long.
Not fucking 18 for 14 hours long. Yeah, it's incredibly
It's very impressive. I think just to piggyback off that as well, what's so impressive about what Lockyer did there, he didn't blame outside sort of factors to why his guard got passed. He didn't say, I was feeling a bit sick, or, so he actually looked internally and he said, okay, my deficiency is here in guard retention. I'm going to just be honest with myself and work on my guard retention.
Yeah,
accountability. And now
accountability.
he's to the point where he's probably got essentially an impassable guard. You've watched those. Have you seen when he went to B team?
Yeah.
And like these guys are like some of the best guys in the world, especially like Nicky Ryan is such a good passer. Like none of these guys could pass his guard. Insane.
Super impressive. Leading on to the next point, talking about B team, they seek out the best training partners, even if it means moving to a third world country like Austin, Texas, USA.
Yep.
Shout out our American listeners. But if you say you're in a regional area, you're in a small local gym, you're in a gym just for hobbyists, and you have competitive ambitions, are you in the environment that's going to allow you to grow and push yourself to where you need to be? And that sometimes means making hard decisions. Sometimes that means moving interstate. I mean, we spoke briefly with Bilal Etabari, who just won the CGI trials in Melbourne. He moved from New Zealand to Melbourne just to train. He realized, obviously I'm sure New Zealand has some good training, but he realized for me to get to where I need to be somewhere else. So he identified, Absolute MMA in St Kilda in Melbourne as the place he needs to be. So that's where he flew. So he moved his whole life just to find the best training partners and just to find the best coaches.
Yeah. And also, you don't necessarily need to move there permanently or anything, but just like traveling sometimes.
Yes.
Even just in your local area, we're in Sydney. We've got a few good gyms here.
100%.
You can just travel to a few different gyms and, train a couple times here or there. You don't have to move somewhere permanently. But yeah, just understanding how to do that is super helpful. Even like, I heard Jozef Chen saying he loved B team, but he felt like at that time there weren't enough good leg lockers there. So then he went to Jason Rouse to get better at his leg locks. And just that understanding of like, okay, this is a great place, but it's just missing XYZ. I should find XYZ somewhere else. So it's just, you don't have to move somewhere permanently, but visiting and traveling can do wonders.
Or even interdisciplinary, like if you need to get better wrestling, maybe bringing in a wrestling coach or cross-training with wrestlers, cross-training with judo guys can be a fantastic way to get better.
Yes, sir. What's the next one, Ben?
What's the next one?
Ben?
The next one is they don't neglect strength and conditioning.
Okay.
Technique is not everything, George.
Like you're
very
personally
important.
attacking me, Ben.
Listen here, little bitch. You must lift weights.
Pathetic.
Shout out Charles Allen Price.
As Charles Allen Price would say, pathetic.
Pathetic.
You're pathetic.
But really, let's be honest. This is a sport. And the stronger you are, the fitter you are, the more flexible you are, the more mobile you are, the better you'll be at the sport. And the less injuries you'll get. You'll become a more robust individual. Obviously, steroids helps as well. It helps as well. So, we're not advocating for steroids, but if you look at some of these, training routines, if someone is on steroids, it's a lot easier to train, to roll 6 days a week, to lift 6 days a week. But assuming you're natural, we're not telling you to become a full bodybuilder, bro split, 5-6 days a week lifting, just twice a week full body. The difference between not training, not lifting weights at all, not doing any strength and conditioning, and just twice a week, 45 minutes, for most people is an immense difference.
I like you got to find out like what works for you depending on your lifestyle and things like that. I'm lazy, so I like Gary Tonon's approach where he'll do like half an hour of some kind of weightlifting before or after class, and so he knows, okay, realistically, I just don't have the time, or
He's a full-time athlete.
He is, but like he just knows in himself, like this is how I work. If it's more than that, I mean, who knows? I don't know if that's changed for him, but basically he said, like, I'll make sure I do like 45 minutes, half an hour before or after class every single day, because I know that that's what I'm going to be able to do. And that's what I'm like, if I'm going to be consistent, that's what works for me. So even something as little as half an hour every single day, 45 minutes every single day, whatever it is, as long as you're doing something, it's going to help massively. Even if you're doing, 10 squats before each class, 10 push-ups before each class, it's better than nothing.
Definitely. And if you can't afford a gym membership, or you don't want to have a gym membership and your jiu-jitsu membership, you can get a lot done with kettlebells. You can get a lot done with sandbags. I've recently started doing sandbag training with JT from Bulletproof. It's fucking brutal, bro.
What are you doing with this sandbag?
45 kilogram sandbag. Lift it up with like a body lock and do squats with it and do heavy carries. So you just walk. It sounds simple, but you just walk around the gym, like basically gable gripping, body locking a sandbag, and it forces your core to engage, and it's brutally hard. And JT's like, this is one of the best things you can do for strength in grappling, and even to some extent conditioning and grappling. So sandbags, and how much, like you could buy a sandbag for like probably $20, go to your beach, fill it up full of sand. Like it's not that expensive.
But everyone lives in sandy Sydney.
Surely you can find sand somewhere, bro. The desert.
Some dirt.
I mean, Home Depot, Bunnings, you can find sand. A bag of rice, bro. Fuck it, buy a bag of rice and just carry that around. Or, I mean, kettlebells as well. You can just buy a few kettlebells and then you'll have them for life. So.
And you'll become less pathetic.
Pathetic. Yeah, lift weights. Stop being lazy. Last point, number 7. They seek out feedback relentlessly. This is something I've noticed, is that beginners and hobbyists, oftentimes they'll roll with someone, particularly if they roll with someone better than them, they'll get their guard passed, they'll get bashed, they'll get submitted, and they go, okay, good roll, and they'll just walk away. If somebody's high level and you do something that impresses them, or you even get a better grip on them, you win a position, they will not rest until they understand what happened, which kind of feeds into our old point of looking at camera footage. But if there's no camera footage available, they'll sit there and ask you for 10 minutes, like, okay, what happened here? What do you do? How does this work? There's like a curiosity there that I think is really important.
Yeah. I've spoken ad nauseum about this, but I love questions, but in particular, I love specific questions.
Fuck off with your generic questions. You'll make George upset.
Don't upset
Let's
me.
talk about what makes a generic question and why you don't like it.
It's not helpful. It's like you do a 5-minute roll with someone, and afterwards they say, "What can I do better?" And it's like
Everything.
It could be such a broad question. I don't know where to start. Whereas the other day we were in class and Allison had a great question. She was like, what do I do when I get stuck in high ball ride? I'm not sure how to escape this position. I'm like, perfect. Okay. Now I'm preparing a class, and on Wednesday we're going to do high ball ride escapes. Because it's a great specific question, and we've never covered it before in class. So why would she know how to escape? Because we've never covered that.
Yep.
And like if you ask questions, the coaches can tailor classes to you or like help you on the side and things like this, and you go from there. But I think it's such a great that was such a great moment because it was a specific question, and now I had to think and we're like, oh, well, actually never covered that in class ever before, so I can't expect people to just know that position and how to escape. So let's cover it as a class. It was so helpful.
Yep. Another interesting framework when it comes to asking good questions is if you've trained with someone better than you and you want to ask them a question, don't ask them a question from your perspective. Because if you're asking, what should I be doing better? You're making that person put themselves in your shoes and then work backwards. And it's quite like, it's a lot of effort to do that. Instead, a more effective question might be, how are you getting my elbow above my head in mount? Or what are you thinking about when you're passing the guard? Or how do you like to pass the guard under the legs? Those are much simpler questions to answer because the person just thinks, oh, they can just backtrack. They can put themselves in the position. Oh, when I get under the legs, I'm thinking about bringing your knees to your chest. And I'm thinking about cutting this angle. It can be a much more direct response and more specific.
Yes. Yes.
No fucking generic questions.
Yeah.
Guys,
Questions.
which point is your favorite? Have we missed any habits of highly effective grapplers? If so, let us know in the comments.
Ben,
George.
can I actually add one?
Oh, yeah.
I've got one more.
Oh, shit. We have another one. Guys, don't go anywhere. George has another point.
Guys, please. Something else that I've been thinking about recently is I think highly effective grapplers are problem solvers.
Ooh.
Okay, so once again, bringing up Kit Dale, right? But
shout out Kit Dale.
I find this with myself as well, right? I have some kind of question or I'm struggling with something specific, and my automatic instinct is, okay, let me ask someone, let me ask Sebastian Attard what he does with this sumigashi or whatever it is, where I've discovered now, okay, wait, if I've got a question, let me try to figure it out first. And when you try to figure it out first, going back to your question previously, you can then ask better questions because you can say, I've been trying X, Y, Z. I've been thinking about this and that, but it's not working. What's going wrong? So being, starting to love problem solving, the aspect of problem solving in this sport, I think will make you go really far because that's when you start to coach yourself and start figuring out your own problems. And then you'll become much more skillful as a result.
That's a really good point because sometimes beginners ask questions and they say, like, I kept getting, this person keeps sweeping me this way. And you say, well, what have you tried as a response? And they just don't have any. They haven't actually taken the time to think about it first, which means that your answer probably won't sink in.
Yeah.
But if they've really sat down there, they've played around with the position, they might just either solve the problem themselves or, like you said, have a much better question to ask. And the answer will actually sink in. I like it. Approved. Number 8, become a problem solver. Don't delegate all of your problems to your coach or someone else.
And I understand as a beginner, you might come up with a solution, but because you're maybe a white belt, you're maybe insecure and you feel like, oh, I've come up with a solution, but will this actually work? But it's such a great spot from there, you can ask your coach.
Yeah, be like, this is what I'm currently doing. I'm having some success with it. And sometimes it might be just a small tweak to your solution to make it very effective.
Yes.
Nice. Very good, George. Approved. Guys, like, comment, subscribe. Peace.